sacas.
¿Ya está grabando?
Sí, sas.
Eso yo lo borro.
Ah, ok.
No. Hello guys, welcome to another video of Crime and Punishment. And today we're going to be analyzing part 5 of this book from Dostoevsky. As first point of this video, I'm going to be analyzing an economical and political aspect of crime and punishment. Throughout all the videos I've been, analyzing psychological things, philosophical things, and all that sort of things. But I've never touched neither a political and an economical themes. So throughout this first part of this video, I'm going to speak about specifically two economical and political methods that are used nowadays, which are socialism and capitalism, and that are evidence throughout this fifth part of crime and punishment. For being able to analyze this, I need to say that this will be limited by the opinion of Fyodor Dostoevsky, because throughout this part he explained his position about these two methods. Now, as first thing, I'm going to be speaking about capitalism, and Dostoevsky clearly speaks of capitalism as a negative thing. Why is a negative thing? Because Dosto, what it does is to criticize capitalism throughout Lucien, which is a guy which is really rich, and the way that Lucien treats people and relationships. For example, in chapter 1, if I'm not wrong, in the first pages of this chapter, Lucien he complains to himself of the fact that he didn't give money to Donia and her mother, in order for that, with the logic that as these two women don't have money, they will go to Lucien and ask him for money. But they ended having money, so his plan failed, and he sees all these things as an economical thing of inversion and retribution, as a capitalist sees things, as in the economical market, as the economical market works. Also, Dostoevsky has a negative position about capitalism, because he sees capitalism as a total loss of the human essence. This we see it through Lesyavnikov. He puts Lesyavnikov as a really dumb guy, but the essence of Lesyavnikov, it's that humanity that he has, that sense of we are human and we exist and we have rights. To this point, I need to explain something that I investigated about the biography of Dostoevsky, in which it is established that Dostoevsky, throughout all his books, has a really conservative position, and that one of the first books that he read was one that was about religion and about the Tsars and the importance of the Tsars and religion in the Russian society. So this book influenced him and making him have a really conservative position in front of religion and what should be the cultural identity of people. Now, having this in mind, we have that this position against capitalism, it's a conservative position from the point of view of religion and the identity that we have as humans and as sons of God. So we, throughout the market and throughout transforming people in only things that are only things that are inside the dynamics of the market and are products and inversions that can be made. He shows total against this, as I already explained, throughout, for example, the thing that losing considered the first example that I said. And another one that I forgot, I know now. And also through how he criticized the prostitution and the transformation of, for example, Sonia in an object in a society in which transformed a human in a sexual object. This is likely the best example for his position against capitalism, because while you read the book, a horse that it's supposedly to be the scum of society, the lowest thing that a human can aspire to be, doesn't make you have that feeling that you will feel that you have when you see a horse in the street, or when someone calls that you have a mother that's a prostitute, or things like that. You don't have that feeling when you think about Sonia. You think of Sonia as a victim of things, as a victim, as a consequence in a society, in the mentality of society that transformed people in objects. So that's like the things that Dostoevsky thinks, as in my point of view, about capitalism. Now, as a second thing, we have socialism in the book. It's totally necessary to go back again to the point in which I described the little investigation that I made, and the things that I read from the biography of Dostoevsky. Knowing this biography, we can also conclude that the position of Dostoevsky about, socialism, it's obvious he is totally against this political and economical thing. He's more against the political thing. Why? Something that is totally characteristic from socialism, it's the fact of the absence of religion, as Marx and all other socialist guys have said. Religion is something that creates chains to people, and a way in which poor people find a way to forget about their poorness and their economical situation. And it's a way from these high social classes and the religious classes to have the control of the mass. Now, Dostoevsky goes against this because first he's religious, he's really conservative in that point thing, and in the book we evidence that Dostoevsky, throughout the critics that Lusin makes to Lesyavnikov, excuse me, Russian names, Lesyavnikov, to the critics that may Lusin to Lesyavnikov in the thing about marriage, Lusin criticized that it's total loss of the identity, and it's ridiculous to be in a free marriage in where there's no compromise, in which there is no affecting thing, and in which the absence of religion is motivates not having that feeling of fraternity in in the unity and making a family. Now, also we see these things through Raskolnikov and the fact that he is atheist and the fact that, well, he has all these progress ideas and futuristic things, and he has like this thing of making a new order. Now, throughout Raskolnikov we can see, and throughout also through Lesyavnikov, that both consider that in order for creating a new society must exist we must demolish what had been created and construct a totally new thing. This goes against like what Dostoevsky thinks, because we can deduce that Dostoevsky thinks that we must not simply demolish what already exists, but make what it's existing now to evolve, to construct from what it's constructed, not simply destroying things. And now going back to the thing about Raskolnikov and the thing that he is atheist. As I already said, atheism is a thing of an intrinsic thing from socialism, and here we see that throughout Sonia, he criticized this atheism as he sees that the loss of identity, of religious identity, of having like a guide that will be Jesus Christ and, well, religion, it makes Raskolnikov lose all the total sense and makes him like have that vaguest thoughts, and drives him to make the murder in order for finding an identity that it will supposedly will be religion, and because he is atheist, he doesn't have this. So that will be with socialism, and more the critic that Dostoevsky does, it's like the loss of identity in which the loss of identity that socialist people have. Now, as a second point of this analysis, I'm going to touch something that happens, really curious, which is the confession of Raskolnikov to Sonia, and, well, the confession of his crime. In this happens various things. The first one, which I'm going to talk about, it's that when Raskolnikov tells Sonia about the crime, Sonia, well, she makes a face, like an expression that reminds Raskolnikov the same expression that Lizaveta made when Alyovna, when she saw Alyovna in the floor and dead. And this is what it means. This means like not a cycle, but like a spiral thing that repeats the same, repeats Raskolnikov the moments of the crime, and doesn't repeat exactly the same things because, well, it's in a cycle, but it's like a spiral, but are similar things that happen. Here, well, Raskolnikov doesn't kill anyone, he simply like tries to confess his crime, but he feels the same. He feels like that incapacity of him to finding something, to finding sense in the murder, and, well, while he was in the original murder, he didn't find, he tried to find a sense in taking the jewels and all that things, but he couldn't find it, and neither he isn't finding a sense in the confession he's making, because his skin fell, like falling in that hole in which he had been summoned throughout all this time, in which he simply finds out that whatever he thinks, it's like totally wrong. For example, the Napoleon thing and the superior ones and the ones that dominate, etc. And the idea of him of killing, transforming in one of them. Now, well, this is first thing. Also, the expression means like the like how he treats people that doesn't have anything to do with the crime, and at the end being crucial parts of it. For example, Elizabeth didn't have anything to do with Alyosha, and just she was her sister, but at the end she wasn't the responsible of like the business of her sister, and neither Sonia was responsible of anything that Raskolnikov made. But both of them entering in that in the crime and being crucial part of the crime, and that expression represents like the innocent, like the how innocent people enter evil things from. Well, that's what I imagine that Dostoevsky tried to represent. Now, a second thing is the repertant of Raskolnikov, like throughout throughout the conversation that he had with Sonia, we can see any repertant from him. Yes, we see repertant from him. I'd like to answer that question. Because he tries to, well, he at the end admits that his thoughts drove him to commit the crime, and that the thoughts were only like a childish thing, like were only things that were caused thanks the absence of him of an identity of being someone, and well, only he at the end admits this, and he's now thinking in a way for having a redemption. He says to give to the police or not giving to the police. Here it's starting this conversation about that, but he's seeking for a way to have a redemption from the crime. And now, as a third point, we have that if Raskolnikov knows what it meant to have killed himself when he killed the old hag, and it's like a more religious thing, because when he killed the hag, he was losing that humanity that he had. He was losing that little piece of identity, that little piece of humanity that he had, and he lost it. And here it's again a really religious view from Dostoevsky, and it's like the loss of the identity and loss of what we are as humans, and therefore our essence, and that was lost throughout the crime and the murder, and that we lost the things by committing evil things, and by guided by ideas or that only make damage to our partners, and that don't really help creating a better society in that Christian logic. And well, that will be everything for this. And now, well, thank you for watching once more, and well, we hope that we get a good grade on this.